Greetings, everyone. Universal peace and love to all. Yaya's here, and welcome to my channel. Today's story time, and I'm going to be telling you all a little bit about myself and my journey and why I am the way I am. So I hope you all enjoy and subscribe. Okay, so this is where I'm going to begin. My grandmother raised me Baptist, Christian. Um, I was in church all the time, from like elementary level to college. Um, I dated a pastor's son. That didn't go out well. Yeah, we tried to mutually break up, and the next day the pastor was at my house talking about how we should be together, this, that, and the other. We're supposed to be married, and this is not right. We shouldn't do that, whatever. And basically we were forced to get back together, and that's just not what I wanted. That's not what the pastor's son wanted. We did not want to be together, and so I purposely cheated. I did. I purposely cheated to get out of the situation and got myself kicked out the church. I have to say that that was the best thing that have ever happened to me, getting kicked out of the church, because I know for a fact that if I would have stayed and we would have just broke up and we would have been mutual friends, I would have been there. I'd probably still be in church. I wouldn't be the way I am now. I probably would have never woken up. And so I'm glad that I got kicked out the church. And so after the pastor's son, after that whole little situation, I began trying to find myself, and instead of trying to be so Christian and have these Christian morals, I just wanted to have my own standards and I wanted to have my own morals. So I began searching, soul searching, and I wasn't finding much. I was, I was hanging out in the streets, hanging out with different people, hanging out with different rosters. If you go to New Orleans, they got a lot of different rosters outside, set up with all kinds of merchandise. Most of them are commercial dreads, so don't get too excited. But I would be out and chilling and hanging out, and I met this guy named Christian, and he wasn't conscious of anything. He was just sweet and nice, and it was a big change from the relationship I was just in. He would hang out. He had like real nice friends, and it wasn't the cookie cutter Christian bunch, and so it was some people I wasn't really used to. But they were just normals, regulars, smoke weed every day, watch games, and I got bored. There was this time where we were sitting on his bed watching the Cleveland show. And this episode of the Cleveland show came on. It's about the hurricane, and there's a hurricane in Steuben, and they were all praying to God, this, that, and the other. And Junior was just like, I don't believe in God, this, that. And I began to watch that episode like really closely. I was like, wow, what Junior mean? He don't believe in God? Like, what's going on? And when he asked Donna, like Miss Donna, like, why you believe in God? I'm a black woman from the South, and I was like, is that why many of us are Christians? Because we black people in the South? It didn't get to me that, man, slavery really like beat Christianity into us. And I was just like, wow. And I began to thinking, and I was just like, man, I think this episode of the Cleveland show started me on this path. And they began singing the song, worship him and he'll damn you all to hell. And I was like, why would a God that loves you damn you to hell just for not believing? Wow, like that's crazy. It was so crazy. And I was just like, now I gotta go and figure out like what the real meaning of God is, or who the real God is, or you know, just what is God, what is religion, or what is spirituality, what am I here for, what's the purpose. And I remember sitting in bed one night a few days later, and I began to study the Egyptian gods and goddesses. And I was trying to tell my boyfriend, yo, I'm really into this stuff. And he would not listen. All he cared about was Jesus Christ and the Bible. And I was just like, no, man, but we don't even go to church. Look at what I'm looking at. Like, pay attention. And he wouldn't. And I remember walking out his house the next day and never returning. Because I don't like stagnant relationships. They're boring to me. And the Christian relationship wasn't going anywhere. And I got somebody that don't want to give up. Well, I didn't want him to give up, but he didn't want to give up his stop. He didn't want to stop being closed minded, or he didn't want to open his mind to a new way of thinking, or to or to even try to understand the things that I was talking about. He didn't want to get into any of that. And one day I was walking and I met with one of my Rasta friends on the street, and I just sat down at his table. And here comes this tall, kind of tall, head wrapped high Rasta walking down the street in all red. And he began, he was just like, come take a walk with me. And I didn't know, man, I don't know this man. So I'm walking with him. And we began, to talk to each other and asking what each other's signs are. And we find out we're both Aquarius. And he was just like, he can see that, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm just trying to find myself. And he was just like, he can show me some stuff. So I didn't really believe him, because everybody else that I was meeting, they didn't have nothing to show me. But he showed me like this, the Book of Enoch and the Urantra and like so much other stuff. And I was just like, man, wow. So the spirituality stuff really goes far, But then, as you begin to study yourself, you begin to realize, just like Junior did, that you make things happen. One thing in that Cleveland show that, Cleveland Jr. got everybody out of trouble, and they were thanking Jesus, and he the one who did it. And I'm like, man, that lets you know that God is within yourself, like, and you should be yourself. And you shouldn't try to conform to what everybody else wants you to be, and you should just, be happy with who you want to be. And so I'm still with that Rasta. That tall, high head wrapped in Rasta. Yeah, I'm still with him. Even though about once a year we have like a big disagreement where I just don't want to be with him no more, but that's love. But I know a lot of people, they're afraid to go against what they've always known. And I don't want anybody to feel like that the journey that they're on is not meant for them. Right now, we're on this path of trying to be self-sufficient and trying to live free on grid, not off grid, but on grid. And it's hard. It's really hard. And sometimes I want to give up. Sometimes I'll be like, man, it's just easier to go back and get a job and live in a box and just go back to doing things the way the system is have it designed to. But if I do it that way, then I'm turning my back on my children and my children's children and my children's children, because they won't know what freedom is if I give up. We have to break the cycle. It has to start with me, because there's no one else in my family trying to do this. It has to start with me, and I have to break the cycle for my youth. And it's all about breaking the cycle. Like, I broke the cycle of Christianity. I'm not thinking that way no more. I broke the cycle of thinking that God is outside of me. God is within. We are all the universe, and we are all gods. We are all creator beings. And so it's really important that we as humans, we find ourselves. And once we begin to find ourselves, we will begin to find that we are all natural beings, just wanting to be free and live free. Like the animals that's in the jungle, that's how we're supposed to be. We weren't meant to create these systems separating ourselves from nature. And it took me years, many years to get to this point. And I just want to say, don't give up, Don't give up, man. Just stay on the path. You take steps. I know a lot of people are just like, well, I'm gonna work the system. I'm gonna make this much money, and then I'm gonna get out. Do what you gotta do. But one thing I want to say is just that don't wait until it's too late. There's gonna come a time when the system really, the dollar value will drop. They're not gonna want you to go to stores because the money is worthless, so you won't be able to buy resources. There's going to come a time where they're going to shut down the streets because they don't want you to go out there robbing in the store. So you're going to be stuck in your houses with this worthless piece of paper. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. What I want is self-sufficient free villages. I had this dream of freeing up the land, freeing up the water, freeing up the animals, freeing up us. And I feel like that's the only way that we can go. The concrete jungle must be no more. We must allow nature to take over everything, I guess this is all a part of the story too. But that should be the path that we're all on. Not just me, not just my family, not just a few other families, but we should all strive for self-sufficiency and freedom, because it's not just what's right for all us human beings, but it's also what's right for all the natural elements, all the animals, future generations. It's just what's right. And we have to get out of doing what's best for the country and do what's best for the planet, And we have to realize that the government is not making the best decisions for the planet. It's just making the best decisions to keep itself in power and to have control. And it makes me sad because I personally, I feel the weight of the world. I can feel in the suffering and the oppression of all of creation, And sometimes I cry my ass off because it's so painful to feel everything, everyone's pain, people robbing just because they don't have food on their table, but they don't realize is that out in nature, you wouldn't have to rob. There would be a fruit tree right across from there that you can go and pick fruit off of. The rivers of water, they were free. You could just go and put your hand in a spring and just sip clean water. And everyone back in the day knew how to build their own houses. They've taken so many skills from us, man. And it's just sad, And I feel all of that. I feel what money's doing to us as beings, we're working ourselves for something we don't need. We are killing ourselves and killing each other for things we do not need. This system is the only reason there are homeless people. They're the only reason there are hungry people. The only reason we need money. Because if everyone was living naturally and as natural beings, none of that would be needed. No one would be controlling anyone's life. We would all be free. We would all be going on adventures, traveling, going to see different locations, meeting new people. We would all be doing what we want to do instead of being on somebody else's time or working for someone else. We would all just be living. And that's what I want. I have this dream of just seeing everybody live. Even if it's not in my lifetime, I want my children or my children's children to have a free and safe place to go. So creating these self-sufficient villages, I think would just benefit, But this went from being story time to me ranting about wanting freedom. I hope y'all like this video. But I think I'm gonna head out because my children are probably looking for me, as they always are. They always need something from me. But tune in to my next video. I will start Common Law 101. And you don't want to miss it. I'm going to be breaking it down from my first video. You're going to be able to go in court with everything I said and beat a case straight up from Common Law 101, video 1. Because I'm going to do more than one video. While I'm stuck in this little tiny hellhole, I'm going to teach you all everything I possibly can. But go purchase Royals Cosmetics so we can get out this desert. As you can see, I have on this lovely custom order chakra necklace. Yes, and everything's 50% off right now. So you can head to www.royalscosmetics.com. Use code GETRVOUT and everything will be 50% off, and you can get one of these lovely necklaces like I have one here. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Sorry I ranted and went off from my story time, but I guess this was needed more than what I was going to say because those words just flew out my mouth. So peace, love, and happiness to you all.